Hello, beautiful scorpion souls. I'm your psychic advisor, Micah, and I'm here to give you your 2025 tarot forecast. Alrighty, Scorpio. So, the energy that you're walking away from is the Wheel of Fortune. So, I did this reading for this woman. Her name was Mimosa Moon on Reddit, which, maybe Tarot Bay isn't the most trustworthy or Capricorn or suit and tie tarot reading alias there ever was. But if I was talking to an astrologer or a tarot reader and their name was Heineken Henry or Mimosa Moon, my first assumption is that this person is probably drunk or an alcoholic because they love an alcoholic beverage or cocktail so much that it is their screen name or handle, right? And I bring this situation up in reference to a descending energy of the Wheel of Fortune because I gave her a free sample reading on Reddit, and then she wanted to give me some like really like mean racist review, which I think that the first indication that a review is not honest is that there's elements of racism in it, which her review was racist and anti-Asian, and then the other bad review that I have on Thumbtack is like anti-First Nations people. But I bring all of this up because she received the Wheel of Fortune in the descending energy. And I did a couple readings that day where I saw that a lot. And so what I told her is that you're exiting a very lucky cycle. And anybody who reads astrology or practices astrology, you know that, all 12 hours of the clock aren't for you. And we can use affirmations, we can be positive. I love 4 o'clock in the morning. I love when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I love 3 p.m. I love 6 p.m. But people are morning people and some people are night people. Some people like the cold, some people like the heat. And you're never going to it can't be cold all day. If it was cold all day, you would freeze. If it was hot all day, you would burn. So there's like waxing and waning temperatures. There's waxing and waning energy. So Jupiter cannot always be shining on you. And in my chart, I'm very lucky. Like 10 hours out of the day, 11 hours out of the day, Jupiter is shining his light on me. And then sometimes it's not. Like I'm trying to record a video and then I get a bunch of text messages. So, and a bunch of updates on my phone that are probably fake and not urgent at all and not prudent or important, but I'm still going to check it because anxiety. So there's that. You know what I mean? So what I was trying to communicate to her was that, yes, for whatever reason, whatever you have going on astrologically in your stars or through the numerology of your name, Jupiter was shining his light on you. And he blessed you and he gave you clothes or money, or you won the Olympics, or you won your little league game. Like just like Jupiter was like really on your side for a second. You may have just read you might have got a natal chart reading, and it just like really inspired you and had so much confirmation and synchronicity that you're like very like you walk out the door in the morning, you're like blasting off like a rocket. You're like shooting out into the air, flying in the sky. You're like, oh, that natal chart reading, that horoscope that I just read, it just gave me so much confidence and so much energy. Boom, and you're just like shooting out your door, like Superman. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean when I'm like, you were in a very lucky cycle. Does this mean that this is the end of your cycle? And maybe for an older woman, hearing something like that could, cycle and menopause and whatever. It's like you had a really good life. Your life has been, if you're 50, 60 years old, your life has been so good to you so far. It's not that it'll stop being good. The Wheel of Fortune isn't going away. Jupiter isn't going away. He might be next door, which is why it's important to have friends, So it's like Jupiter might have been really shining his light on Scorpio so hard, and Scorpios could have just been like eating at the table of abundance. But now it's time for Jupiter to shine a light on Sagittarius or Capricorn or Aquarius, which he don't never shine his light on Capricorn or Aquarius, you know? Um, and this is not to say that you will no longer have good luck, but it's to say that maybe you should go hang out with a Sagittarius or a Capricorn for a while and absorb some of their good luck until Jupiter's back in your sign or back in an auspicious positioning for you. That's all it is. You know, you might have had like a really good dishwasher, or your tires might be really nice. Great appliances, brand new microwave, brand new oven, but then the oven gets old. A chicken bone gets stuck in the dishwasher and it runs kind of funny, makes a noise now. You know, it's like things happen. So that's that. And I'm glad that that was a 45-minute explanation. Okay. So moving right along, with the energies that you can expect in April 2026 is the Queen of Pentacles. And so the Queen of Pentacles, she's upright. This is like maybe you owing a Capricorn money, a Capricorn owing you money. This is typically somebody asking you for money, the giving and receiving of finances, especially with some like long, dark-haired Natasha, Sasha woman that I typically see the Queen of Pentacles is somewhat of like a woman of the night or a painted lady, and I've had confirmation that that's what she represents a lot of the time. But and I've also received confirmation that she was actually one of the first queens that started telling me about her names, because I have names that I associate with the Queen of Cups. But I also have for a very long time have had name associations with the Queen of Pentacles. That it's always like, you know, Natasha, Sasha. They're like Russian hooker names. I don't know how to say it. Like Stasia, names like that. So whereas like the Queen of Swords is like Bobby, Tracy, Trixie, Stacy, Tony, Tawny, Tammy, Lonnie, Lady, Katie, all those names. The Queen of Pentacles. Well, I also have seen the Queen of Pentacles as like Our Lady Guadalupe, but like Maria, Sophia, Stephanie, Stephonia, Sasha, Natasha. And I've received confirmation for this because Beyonce's like alter ego is Sasha Fierce. So this is like their sexy alter ego that you're dealing with, that you owe them money because they, you know, it could be a drag queen, it could be a stripper, it could be somebody you owe money to. Or you could be a stripper or a hooker or whatever. You could be Sasha Fierce, but that's how I see it. And then also Beyonce is very famous, supposedly very famously a Virgo. So in one reading or another, she probably would come up as some type of like page, knight, Queen of Pentacles, maybe a king. You never know how much money she has. And then right above this Queen of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles. So whatever. So in April 2025, Scorpio can expect to pay somebody named Sasha or Natasha hairstyling, head shrinking, wig installation, some shit like that. But they're cool, and they're not asking for too much money. And so what we got going on in May of 2025 for the sign of Scorpio is we got the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords right here in this position, this is a young Gemini friend of yours who does not look at life clearly. There's things in life that they just refuse to look at, right? And so as I was talking about like women of the night and prostitution and things like that, I was a Page of Swords reversed one time, or it's not reversed, but just Page of Swords at one point in time, where my friend was like, oh yeah, you know, 14th Street, that's where all the prostitutes and hookers hang out. And I was like, Megan, that's my friend's name. I was like, Megan, prostitutes aren't real. Like, they're not real. They can't hurt you. There's no one like standing on the street corner like, hey, Joe, you want to give it a go? And then much to my shock and surprise, no, there really are. There really are just like people waiting on the street being like, hey, how are you? You trying to let me get in your car? And I saw that in real life driving around DC, but then I also saw it through someone's like TikTok or Instagram video where they were like, this is, I think it was like Seattle or Portland or something. And it was just a bunch of like like not even like, I mean, like, if these women were like waiting outside of a nightclub in DC, I'd be like, they're normal human beings. But like literally just like loitering outside of a gas station dressed to the sevens. I wouldn't call it dressed to the nines, but like, scantily clad in the cold. So, you might have a friend who is a sex worker, or they're doing something. I'm not necessarily being like super illegal, but it's just like something that you're not looking at clearly and you don't want to look at, like you're averting your eyes from. So with the page of swords in your second house, there's a Gemini like cash cow, someone who's making a lot of money, but for themselves, they might be like a type of person like, okay, let's buy, spend, 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 then check their account. Oh, what's the damage? I don't want to look at my checking account. I just spent a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Um, and then, which might come as a shock and surprise. So that's just the type of person that you're dealing with. I'm not saying that they're not going to have money any longer or they're no longer going to be a cash cow for you. It's just that that's their spending method. So you should be aware that this Gemini that you're trying to leech off of has bad finances or does not have a keen eye on their finances. And then moving right along into the season of Gemini, the month of June, we have the Knight of Wands reversed. So as I was going off about how the Knight of Wands upright is it's a card of sudden miracles. It's like somebody from your past who still thinks about the past coming out to help you. Where this could be a Sagittarius that you're very attached to who's forward thinking and no longer wants to speak to you, and these earth signs and air signs, because they're too focused and settled in on the past. And I see this being amplified because there is the Knight of Swords is right next to the Knight of Wands, with the Page of Swords right above them, and the Knight or the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles are both two cards that are focused on money that's owed from them in the past, harsh words that were said to them in the past, and like I said, things they don't want to look at. And the Knight of Swords, typically upright, I keep saying, is the Oasis song, Don't Look Back in Anger. They look back. The Knight of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, mainly Gemini, they look back in anger. But it's reverse. So this is like somebody who usually holds grudges, is very angry, has a right to be angry, has a right to be rude, has a right to be mean, and they're not. They're choosing to look forward into the future. They're not going to provide for you. They're not going to be a sudden miracle for you. It might actually come as a shock and surprise at this. You might have some Sagittarius that you're talking to. You put them on the back burner, and you're like, oh, I'll come back to this guy whenever I want. And they're like, I don't need you. I'm in love and I'm married. Screw you. We might also be a Leo. Moving right along into the fourth house, love, comfort, mother nature, mother nurturing, and the month of July 2025, we have the Five of Wands reversed, which I swear to God, if I don't get a call from Steve Harvey, or if I'm not made the host of Family Feud or whatever the hell is going on, I don't know why the hell I keep getting this card. But literally the only way that I can see this card for the longest time has been it being a card of family, like I said, Family Feud. And I keep getting so. Another thing, your phone will send you notifications to apps because the app is like, I'm jealous that you're on another app, or they are not paying attention to me, or that you're not on your phone. So like, please pay attention to me. Bing, bing, bing. And there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. Okay. So yeah. So Five of Wands. So like I think this is in my September video. This might be in one of the Pisces videos or some other video that I did. But it's like I haven't really watched the show Family Feud in a while, but I was watching it recently, and there was a contestant on there with her family, and and she's like a principal at a school, and she talked about I'm the principal at this school, yada yada yada, go Jaguars or whatever their logo was, and her husband, he gave some like I know like sometimes like with Family Feud it's like sometimes what you're after is the correct answer, and then sometimes what you're after is like a sexy or salacious answer. And he said something. I think he said something about prostitutes or hookers or something. He said something that was so wild. I forget what the question was. That would probably have been a better story if I remember what the question was. But I just remember that his answer was something to do with like a brothel or hookers or something. And I was like, I want to reach into the TV and slap the dog shit out of him for her. Why are you doing this to us? Like, she's a principal at a school and she's on Family Feud. She most likely told all of her friends and colleagues and coworkers that she's going to be on Family Feud. And then I hear her on TV fucking talking about hookers. I'd be like, cut the camera. Cut the camera. What did you just say? Like, I would slap him so bad. So it's something like that. Like, you know, maybe you're playing charades with your mom and she says like some wild answer and you're just like, why in the hell, if I'm making elephant noises in my body like a fucking elephant, would the answer be Inspector Gadget? You're an idiot and I hate you. You know, something like that, like just like game night gone wrong. Like just really like Four of Wands, fourth house, July 2025, be aware, game night gone wrong. Jumanji, the Jumanji sketch in SNL. It does not have to be Jumanji for the game to Jumanji me. Or also the Weezer sketch from SNL. Like we're all having a pleasant, nice, and kind dinner party. And then for some reason, you know, Sheila wants to play Boggle knowing that like Iram does not speak English as a first language and just like busts him out about how he doesn't speak English very well. You know, Sharam, I don't know names. Sharam. So there's that. There's also the Family Feud ending. So there could be like a Family Feud around your mother's side of the family. Your mother could be in a Family Feud with like her brothers and sisters, and that is coming to an end. Whenever I see, when I think of pills, I usually think of the Five of Pentacles. Eminem has been coming up so hard in my videos. And I know he just did this song. I think I made some like tweets about him or something, but like he's been coming through so hard. Like what is it? This video, last video, the rapper Eminem was coming up, and then now this one as well. Like blue and yellow, purple pills. So it's like your mom could have stolen all your pills, or you could be stealing pills from your mother, or you could have started using pills because of your mother. But this was also saying to me, like, you might need to throw these pills out, whatever you're taking. Okay. And then so moving right along into the month of August 2025, what we have here is the Ace of Wands, which is a really great card to see for August. It's a really great card to see in any type of fire type position. So your biggest caveat to the success of your life's purpose, are you feeling in alignment with your life purpose? Because the thing is that you're always in alignment with your life purpose. Even if you're laying down in a ditch, that's a part of your story, you know? Those guys from Trading Spaces or Coming to America, I forget which movie. I was talking about Eddie Murphy and Madonna in my last video too. Those guys from Trading Spaces. We're back, Mortimer. So to have the comeback, to be like Lisa Kudrow in that HBO show, The Comeback, that Lisa Kudrow I think is a Leo, but you know RuPaul when he's like hello hello, he is doing an homage to The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow. If you want that to be you, especially as a Scorpio, you have to fail first. So to recover from a failure and to have that be a known part of your story and your arc as a Scorpio, you have to fail first. And failure can be very hard. And you might need a wand. You might need help smoking. You might need help getting over an addiction to smoking. You might need a cane to walk with, like, and make it chic, like Carrie, and the new horrible Sex in the City spinoff, where she's like walking around with that umbrella when she really needs a walker or a cane. David, I don't feel right in a turban, David. What I feel like is Gloria fucking Swanson. Why don't you just get a walker, David? Why don't you get a walker, just put me in it? What am I? Am I 80? Am I an 80-year-old woman, David? That. Soap dish. I love Soap dish. I need to make a whole video about Soap dish, because Soap dish, there's a lot going on in Soap dish. The movie Whoopi Goldberg, other Scorpio, and there's a lot of great actresses in that. Christina Jimmy is actually, so when, it'd be so great if I could remember her name right now, but Robert Downey Jr., God, Penny Marshall? That's not her name. I don't know her name. God, I wish I could think of her name right now. But when she's going on that rant, she's actually talking to Christina Jimmy. And I don't know Christina Jimmy's sign, but I just need to remember this if I ever meet her. Because when Hocus Pocus 2 came out, I was watching this press interview that they're doing for it. And the interviewer was such a biatch. Like, she was such a bitch, see you next Tuesday. Like, she was like, oh, Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex in the City, Dudley Do-Right. Like, you just, everything you do speaks for itself. Oh my God, Bette Midler, you're like the first woman of comedy and theater and Broadway. And she's like, and you? What do you do? Like, you know what I mean? She was so mean to her. And I was like, Christine, okay, so like, dial it back, honey. Christina Jimmy was in the first Hocus Pocus movie. She's in Soap Dish. And screw Sex in the City. Screw the bathhouse and being the first woman of comedy. Christina Jimmy's goddamn Peggy Hill. And maybe she is, I need to look up her stuff. She might be a Scorpio, she might have some placements in Scorpio because it's very like secretive and subdued. And she didn't even stand up for herself. She wasn't even like, girl, who you talking to? I'm Peggy Hill. Happiness, vagina. You don't know how quotable and iconic I am. The best anime that's ever been created. Arguably the best anime that's ever been created. Slice of life anime. King of the Hill. Like, King of the Hill, way better than The Simpsons. Way better than Family Guy. There's times where you're watching it where, like, you can tell they're trying to compete with South Park and everybody else. But, like, them first episodes, earnest, honest, beautiful, great accent work. A great slice of, like, a perfect cartoon. Perfect cartoon. It's for kids. It's for adults. It's for the whole family. It's funny. It's stupid. It's gross. No character is overly unintelligent. No character is overly intelligent. It's balanced. It's fair. Love it. I don't even know what house we're in. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But maybe that's the motivation that you need. Maybe people are downplaying your accomplishments, like Christina Jimmy was in that video. Maybe people are calling you old, like Sarah Jessica Parker. I love Matthew Broderick, and Matthew Broderick is my favorite singer right now. Maybe people are trying to treat you like Bette Midler. It's Rose's turn. Maybe you, what is it? Came out too late and started too early, or started too late and came out too, whatever she says in that song. It's finally Rose's turn. Mama didn't have any talent, and that's why Mama was mad. She maybe had talent for the dumb, deaf, and blind, but nothing that nobody else would call talent. And you are very talented, a Scorpio. And this is maybe the confirmation that you need to receive. I don't see, so this is what I see. Maybe the confirmation that you need to receive is a whole bunch of money. Maybe someone needs to give you before you believe in your occult magic powers, maybe somebody needs to give you a house or an apartment or $10,000 to be like, oh, am I really a witch? Am I really a witch doctor? Because I've been praying every day for $10,000 since I was 8 years old, and yet the most I've gotten was 5. But then when you add those two fives together, is that not 10? And then I think if you went through your books, you'd probably see that you've already received what you've been asking for, and you maybe ask for more. But I see the Ten of Pentacles here. So in the month of September 2025 is going to be a very financially abundant time for you. Um, the beginning of 2025 so far, from April, May, June, July, and August, it seems like there's just gonna be a lot of people asking you for smoke. So asking you for a cigarette, asking you for weed, asking you for other things that you can smoke, maybe even asking your advice on burning sage and Palo Santo and greater things like that. A Sagittarius maybe saying some mean things to you. You might have a Sagittarian sister or friend who is heartbroken, completely devastated by your success. And I'm saying, baby, let that heart shatter. Fuck her. Keep on going. And if you're waiting for this reward, you're like, I've been working so hard. I've been such a good person. I've been kind. I've been neat. I've been sober. I've been enduring physical pain, mental anguish, emotional torture. When am I going to get when am I going to cross the finish line? When am I going to get my laurel leaves? When am I going to win the Kentucky Derby? When am I going to have my name in the paper? When am I going to get top billing? September 2025, honey. It's raining coin. Hallelujah. It's raining coin. Hallelujah. It's raining coin. Every specimen. So if you're in a tight spot, Scorpio, just wait. 2025, September 2025. Mark it on your calendar. It's going to be a great month for you. And you know why? Because it's something that you've been manifesting to be making money more effortlessly and easily. So for some of you guys out there, so what I'm seeing in October 2025 is the Death card. Oh no. Ooh, scary. A great card. So the death, people are like, oh, the Death card, it just means change and transition. It don't always means death. Usually it means death. When we're trying to sell readings and be love and light and joy and kindness and zero negativity, oh no, it just means a transition. People don't die every day. Like by the millions every day. The Death card, it means that someone's going to pass away. It means someone's going to pass away. But then when people pass away, they leave inheritances. And it could be a makeup bag. It could be a house. It could be this fabled apartment that you're after. It could be the $10,000 you've been trying to manifest since you were 8 years old at one time in one lump sum. So to see the Death card, it's jarring, obviously. It's not a card that you would particularly want to see, but that's maybe how people feel about Scorpio. Because Scorpio is Pluto. So if this is when you're gathering with all your friends, if you're the pantheon of the gods, when you show up, I feel like this is the same for Cancer and Pisces too, but when you show up, it's Hades coming to the party. It's the Grim Reaper. It's like, you're playing The Sims. It's like, we're having a great barbecue. Oh shit, here's the fucking Grim Reaper, Scorpio. The fuck do you want, He's like, I just want to party and have a Heineken too. What the hell's wrong with you guys? Not every day has to be the harvest, I'm just here to do Macumba and say Ashe. Leave me alone, So that's the thing too. And then it's like more people might be, giving you your props as the Grim Reaper. You might finally get paid for all the reaping that you've done. You might get paid for all the magic and witchcraft and voodoo that you've been doing. You might have been saying man, I just want to be I want to get paid to be a witch doctor. The Death card, it's either, so when it comes to professions and jobs, the Death card is either some type of voodoo practitioner, specifically witch doctor. So I know that term is very racist and whatever, but it and maybe it is a regular doctor, the good doctor, a surgeon, a spiritual surgeon, a physical surgeon, but it is also driving Uber. And I don't know if Uber is just killing people left and right with how their business strategy is set up. but it's like being self-employed. You're an Uber driver, you make your own hours. You know, you got to pay for your bills, and maybe they helped finance a car for you, so you are kind of locked in to working a certain amount of hours. But theoretically, when you're driving for Uber or working for one of these apps, or you have like a gig economy side hustle gig, you do get to make your own hours. You're your own boss essentially. If you're a bartender, maybe not. Like, maybe your manager's making your schedule, but there's some whatever. So what I see here is that you guys are attracting a new job, either as a witch doctor, a referee, or an umpire, like at a baseball game. You could be working at Foot Locker dressed like a referee or umpire. Or you could be dressed like Senator Palpatine and taking over the Empire. You might look like Senator Palpatine at this point. But whatever it is, in this position, to see the death card in the seventh house, like Martha Stewart, it's a good thing. Other people doing tarot readings for you, seeing the death card, they're lying to you. It's a horrible, awful, awful, horrible thing. But to be doing a Scorpio reading, and like, what is Scorpio attracting in their seventh house in the month of October of 2025? It is them being the major Anakara version of Scorpio. So day to day, you might be a Page of Cups, you might be a Knight of Swords. You might on a Weepy Wednesday, you might be a reverse Queen of Cups. On a Good Friday, you might be a King of Cups. But what Scorpio really wants to be, or the energy that they should be aiming for, is like this planetary like, I'm the king of Pluto. I'm from Pluto. I'm the king of Pluto. I'm death. Okay? So when you want to overlook me for a job opportunity, when you want to say that I'm not psychic, when you want to say that I'm desperate, when you want to say I'm poor, when you want to say that I'm not motivated, when you want to say that whatever it is that people want to say, I'm not looking at things clearly, I'm not looking at my finances clearly, I'm some Russian whore or a prostitute, Natasha, Sasha, whatever, that's cool. That's awesome. That's great. That's fine. Say all those things. But also know at the end of all of those um, epithets, or is that the right word? Monikers that you're giving me, just know at the bottom of that, I am also Pluto and I am also death. So I'm the envoy of the end. You can say, do whatever you want. Just know what I know, okay? And people are going to become keen of your power. They're going to become aware of your power. Hey, you might just become an account manager for a makeup brand like Elf or something like that. And because it's October, you're doing a bunch of like gothic skull faces makeup, whatever. But know that Halloween is a very powerful and shamanic time and should not be toyed with and should not be taken as lightly. So that's that message. And then moving right along into your house, into the eighth house of occultism, sex, death, and taxes. Like, Leo is a sex house, Scorpio is a sex house, Pisces is a sex house, Taurus is a sex house too, but I think Scorpio and Leo, and that's when like you see Scorpio and Leo couples, you're like, what do they got in common? It's like they be doing it to each other really good. Because they're not very compatible. But what we got here is the Tower reverse. So you're avoiding a disaster. I think that the Tower upright is not that scary of a card. It could just be a house that isn't like the most beautiful home in the world. Sometimes it's just like an apartment building that's maybe too tall or something like that. But I think that the Tower reversed, even more so than the upright Wheel of Fortune, is one of the most auspicious cards that you could receive in a reading, because what it is saying to you is that you're avoiding disaster. So this is like a home collapsing that you just moved out of. This is like an apartment building foreclosing after you move out of the building. This is, your partner. This is actually you cheating on your partner and them never finding out. Or like I said, avoiding disaster, avoiding being found out. You could be cheating on your taxes. and you never get found out because the tower is reversed. You could be cheating on your best friend and you never find out because this tower is reversed, which is great. Um, you might have dated an Aries or a Capricorn and you have them completely painted up as like a cheater and an awful and an abuser. An awful. Not an awful person, just an awful. Like how there's like waffles, like how a food can be a waffle. This person is an awful. And you're just avoiding all backlash, all backsplash avoided. Which most people might, for water signs are very lucky. Pisces, I think, does this the best. Aquarius does this a lot too, where they kind of have that trope of being the lost, wandering baby going through a construction site, and they don't see the danger that they're in constantly, and they just avoid it synchronistically and impactfully and powerfully. It's one of my favorite analogies. I don't know if I got it from somebody else or if it was just something that I divined on my own, because I do talk about cartoons all the time. And it's one of the first like cartoons that people are privy to. I'm pretty sure it's in Fantasia. It's like such a trope where it's like, what is it? Baby's Day Out, that movie. What are that? I haven't missed those like awful '90s, like Baby's Day Out. Look Who's Talking Now. Long Way Home, with the cats and the dog. They're trying to like, find their way back home after they're like lost or whatever. But so I don't. So I usually see that energy exemplified in the Fool card. Typically Fool upright, but this Tower reverse and right next to it we have the Sun. So that's how I see that. Alrighty, so I had to take a quick little break because I had to go get something, and I got it, and now we're good. So, like I was saying previously, that the reason why this tower energy is giving me that of a baby walking through a construction site who is safe and sound and protected is that because I'm also seeing the Sun card here. And I'm seeing the Sun card in the December position, the ninth house of higher education and travel. So I've also been receiving the Sun card a lot in my own personal readings as advice. And I think that with this position here, for whatever reason, is kind of giving me the same type of energy where it's like spreading positivity. So to further along your life, to feel that you are in alignment with your life purpose. Because as I've said, you are always in alignment with your life purpose. Even when you're in the middle of a depression, you're still in alignment with your life purpose. It's a part of it. So what should your philosophy be? What will your philosophy be in December 2025 is spreading joy and happiness and positivity. And so it's a different thing too, because like, I was I think, I don't know, maybe previously in the Pisces video I was saying, that the Sun card is usually looked at as a good card, right? Because it's like it's the Sun, it's a car, it's a baby, it's a new dog, it's a pony, like it's all these great things that you want, right? But like honestly, think about if someone showed up at your door with a pony to your 2-bedroom apartment. Like, oh, I bought you a pony. You'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm calling like the police. Like, where did you get this pony from?" Like, no, like get this out of my life, right? So I think about that too as somebody who like prefers nighttime, who prefers darkness, who prefers when it's kind of cold or rainy, which most other people might see as being depressing. So the Sun card, so like if you are a performer, I don't see the Nine of Pentacles here, but the Nine of Pentacles is like the Disney princess card. So if you're like a performer at Disney and you're seeing the Sun card, that could be the worst card that you ever see because it's like the blaring heat of the sun. You know what I mean? You might rather see the Hangman or the Three of Swords, like, okay, it's going to be like an overcast, rainy, misty day today. My makeup is going to look good. The lighting's going to look good. I won't be too hot. I won't be sweating out my wig, So that's the sun card. So it's like, cause, and also, I don't know if this is in this video or the Sagittarius one that I was just talking about, where I was saying that, like, I had this whole thing where I'm like, I'm living a 90-degree lifestyle. Like, my life is an upright angle with an upward trajectory. It's always warm and sunny where I am. And then, I was saying, like, if it's always warm and sunny, like, eventually you're gonna, like, burn and overbake. If it's always wet and cold, you're gonna be moldy and you're gonna start to look like a snake. Or actually, there's this lizard thing called a skinks, Skinks, I believe, and they look slimy like a snake, but they're a very common lizard. I think they're like in Animals Crossing, and I saw one recently in real life, and it was so like beautiful and small and insignificant yet so significant. Like, I'd never, like, you don't really see like reptiles. You might see like insects a lot, or birds, or goddamn, we know those like rodents come in every fucking variety: raccoons, possums, chipmunks, squirrels. You see them all day and night. But it just seems so like profound. And then I looked up what it meant, like, to see a skinx. Like, what is a spiritual meaning or reasoning for seeing one of these animals, which is a typical thing that I do when I see an animal. And it was saying that it was like it's a constant reminder to trust your intuition and that you're typically right. So Scorpio, especially with Scorpio, like, come on. Alrighty, so moving right along into, this is now January 2026. We have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, you could be like planning a trip somewhere. If you're feeling like blocked, or like things aren't moving forward for you, this is a card of re-strategizing. I always think of like Wile E. Coyote when I see this card, like take it back to the drawing board. This card also talks about partnerships, so you might be like, if you're a gay man, you could be partnering up with another man. If you're a woman, you could be partnering up with two gay men, like going into business together. You might start marketing your services towards gay people. In where I am in DC, I don't know, this might be wrong information. Anyway, but like, so it's stuff like that. It also talks about like candle magic, things like, so if you are feeling blocked, you're like, I need to do a spell or candle magic or whatever it is. It's like light 2 incense, light 2 cigarettes, light 2 candles, to summon in a divine partnership. Scorpio, someone you might date or have dated may have passed away or might be passing away. Oh, and this is also the sun card too, where it's like, when people are dying and passing or getting sick, it's a little bit weird for you to be the sun. It's a little weird for you to be like, oh, happy, happy, joy, joy, what's the matter? Everybody in your life die or something. So sometimes it's good to be the hangman. Sometimes it's good to be the moon. Sometimes it's good to be the 8 of cups. It's like, I'm not sitting here feasting on the souls of the departed. I'm mourning them. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to stay happy and light and positive so that I do not join them, essentially. Okay, so in February 2026, I don't know, you might have like a bad Valentine's Day. I'm seeing that you are in this energy of being like very angry and frustrated, which happens, it could just be like wintertime, whatever. The Emperor, it's a red card. So, if I was doing a tarot spread and I was like, oh, what color should I wear today? And I see the Emperor as the advice card, I'm like, oh, it's like time to wear red or orange. If I saw the Hermit, I'd be like, oh, well, like wear green or gray. It's the only like green-gray card of the deck. It's very obvious. And so with this here, it's like, you might know an Aquarius. They might be like a secret Trump supporter or something. They're like embarrassed by it. They might be dating somebody or friends with Trump supporters and they're embarrassed by it. And they might have this stupid red hat on. They might take it off as soon as they see you, like try to hide it in embarrassment. It's also talking about like being the head chair or being like a member. So this is the Aquarius position, not the Capricorn position. It's like chairman of the board. So for some people, just like the president, like being the president of a company or the chairman of a board, sometimes it is just your job to sit in a nice fancy chair and to be known, sort of like Donald Trump in his like in The Apprentice, who do like the boardroom. Because the the similar opposite to the emperor is the empress, and that's a woman who's famously known for sitting on a couch. So, if you're like, I want to be rich and successful and a quadrillionaire, what do I got to do? And you see the Empress card, that means just chill out on your couch and eat bonbons, and the opportunity will be delivered to you. With the Emperor, I think it's more so like sitting in a lazy boy, or if you don't have a lazy boy, like one of those like single male aesthetic yard chairs, whatever, like the ones with cup holders or whatever. Having one of those and getting over the embarrassment, anger, and embarrassing feelings that you feel coming from your friends or your network, or how, the internet and social media and marketing and marketers are trying to destroy your self esteem to sell you products. Um, and then moving right along into March 2026, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So I think, like, there's going to be a lot of like give and take. You might have like loaned out a lot of your money, of your time, and your energy, and you're like, am I ever going to get paid back? Like, am I ever going to get back what I'm giving out? And I see that by either from specifically a Pisces and a Virgo, or very Pisces Virgo. And then whenever I get into a fight with a Virgo and they're like, oh, well, Virgos are better than Pisces, like Michael Jackson was a Virgo, I'm like, his rising and his moon were both Pisces, so it takes two to tango. Which also kind of makes him like the perfect, not perfect person, nobody's perfect, obviously, like look at his face. But kind of makes him like the perfect energy, because theoretically he would be balanced, right? And when you have stuff like that, like when you have a lot of Pisces in your chart and a lot of Virgo in your chart, or if you have a lot of Sagittarius and Virgo in your chart, if you have a lot of Pisces and Sagittarius in your chart, it's very infrequently that you would discover that Jupiter is not shining his light on you. It's very infrequently that you would not feel lucky and blessed from astrology in the universe, because Jupiter and Neptune and Mercury, three of the most powerful energies in our solar system, are showing you favor. And I think that Scorpio, you need to kind of like team up with some Pisces and some Virgos and some Sagittarius and some mutable signs. Mutable signs aren't more likely to be serial killers. I think that mutable signs are more likely to be famous, so that it would only be inevitable that the most famous serial killers would also then be mutable signs. I'm sure if you held that light up to a different demographic, it would hold true as well. Like, what is it? I think the only one I can think of off the top of my head is that like Steve Jobs is a Pisces. Bill Gates is a Scorpio. I think Wozniak was a Gemini, I want to say, and I don't really remember his first name. But like, it takes a team. It takes like a bunch of people. It takes a Voltron, especially with astrology. So a lot of people, because they're analyzing their sun sign. So if I'm like, all Scorpios are stupid, you're like, I'm a Scorpio. That's what I am. I have a Scorpio tattoo. That's how I identify myself. I say Scorpio before I say my first name. You know what I mean? Because it's attached to your ego. Where if I'm like, oh, all Sagittarius suck. You're like, oh, don't say that. Like, I got Venus in Sagittarius. Like, that's my love life. Like, whatever. But it doesn't hurt your feelings as much. But I think once you have this understanding that astrology, your life, your family, your brothers and sisters, the family feud, whatever, it's not about anybody being better than anybody. It's about the mass or the whole being better. So I don't know I think Voltron is 5 characters or 5 parts, but that's the 5 of Wands too. It's like Voltron. It's like you could be the head, and you could be so smart. You're so smart. You're the head of the Voltron. You're the smartest one. Da 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 da. But you'd be spinning around upside down in space without the arms and the legs and the torso and the feet. And we all know, if you don't know, like, you know, Gemini are the arms and hands. Leo and Cancer and Virgo, they're the stomach and the backbone and the chest. So, you know, as an Aries, you might be saying like, I want my money back, or I want to be paid. I'm an Aries, and they're just like laughing at you because you're angry and your head is spinning. But once you get your Cancer friend to help you out and say it with your full chest, say it with your chest, which I think is in an Ariana Grande song, which I thought was really synchronistic. Then you get more leeway. And then when your Gemini friend goes and slaps them across the face, then they're definitely listening, right? So that's what I see. And then I've seen this a lot for Scorpio, and a couple other private Scorpio readings that I've been seeing, is that you are heading towards the Six of Cups reverse. So the Six of Cups reverse to me is like, I don't want to go back to that old way. I don't want to go back to the places. I don't want to go back to my childhood, essentially. So it's like, some people, like when I see the original 150 Pokemon, I'm like, oh man, this reminds me of my childhood and it was so great, you know? Where some people might see cartoons or Betty Boop or Looney Tunes and like, this reminds me of my childhood. You know, like it's not a happy memory. So just be aware of that. Like, I don't know if you can take that sun energy and transmute that into the Six of Cups upright and be like, you know, childhood was bad, but, you know, this one time I went to the Netherlands and we saw these pretty tulips and it was great. And, you know, this one time I won a spelling bee in the 3rd grade and I was really celebrated for that, and that really made me feel appreciated. So, you know, just don't let anything beat you up too much. Alrighty, beautiful Scorpion souls, that is the 2025 tarot forecast. This is what you can expect to receive from me when you do your own private booking. And you can book the tarot forecast for month to month. You can do it on yourself. You can do it for the year ahead. You can do it for like the next 12 years ahead. You can do it for the rest of your life. You can just be like, I want a tarot forecast on myself. Where am I going? You know? Where is this relationship with me and Bindi going? I think Bindi is Steve Irwin's daughter or something. I was trying to think of a name that like nobody would have. Bindi, Mendy, whatever. Where is this relationship with me and Cindy going? Where's this relationship with me and Bobby going, you know? Where's Bobby going? Tell me about the trajectory of his life. And it's like, not so great, or beautiful, amazing, get married, you know? Alright, so thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!